when I didn't understand how to make the relationship work more collaboratively, I didn't understand how to handle the millions of things that I want to do. And I think we do a much better job between our systems that we use. Hello, business human. Are you a misfit? A person who wants to make a difference in this business world? Are you one of the unconventional, the visionaries, the quiet innovators, the heart centered leaders, the purpose driven, the community builders, the givers? Then you are my people. I used to think business was a secret formula to be discovered and followed, but now I know it isn't a set of rules. It's an exciting, creative adventure. And I want to be on that adventure with you. I am your lady of business, Melody Edwards. Welcome to the Business Misfits podcast. Hello, Misfit. It is I, Melody, your lady of business. And today we are going to be interrogating my executive assistant, Kristine, the Melody manager. I really think it's important for people to understand how my relationships work because I wish that could see that in other people's relationships. Sometimes we have ideas about how a relationship works from the outside view when really it's totally different on the inside, right? And so Kristine was kind enough and brave enough to come on today, and we opened the doors to our relationship. And she was very honest about the things that work, the things that we struggle with, and just kind of at the end, she gave some great advice to business owners and to aspiring assistants on how to build a better relationship with each other. And I want to say, I don't think this conversation is something that most people would naturally have. So I hope that you understand this is a gift that Kristine is giving us, especially if you're a business owner who worries about how to relate to employees or to develop a deeper trust with them. Kristine is gifting us with insight. Thank you, Kristine, for having the courage to come on and have this conversation with me. I hope that you enjoy my conversation with Kristine Rachacho. Kristine, welcome to the Business Misfits.
I am honored. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, it
I'm
only took
nervous.
me. I know you're nervous. It's okay. You don't have to be nervous. As I told you, nobody's listening and you have full edit control. But I thought it was really important to bring you on because I talk about, all of the work in our company, Home Service VA, is helping business owners like me, visionary misfit, find someone who's going to help them be the best version of themselves and achieve the dreams that they have. And so in my journey, I really adapted to that concept, call you the melody manager. And it's really because I understand where my weaknesses are, and to do the things I want to do in life and have the impact, I need somebody like you to help me manage my life and to manage me and my energy and all the things. So, first of all, thank you for that. I'm always so grateful to you. I hope I tell you that enough. But I'm here today to interview you so that you can tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about what it's like to work with someone like me, slash me. So, first question I always ask is, are you a business misfit?
Yes, I am.
Why do you think that you are?
Well, I'm a little bit creative on some parts, and then I'm eternal optimist, a little bit fun, but it should be organized. I mean,
Organized fun.
yes. And then I'm an integrator at some point. Yes.
No, you're
So,
you're my integrator of my life. So yeah.
yes. But you're
And
the
you
visionary, so a little
yeah,
bit probably. I'm not sure.
it's just an identity. And honestly, even if you weren't the business misfit, you are it because you are an extension of my brain in many ways. Like you are a part of the thing that keeps the company going. And without you, without that role, it's like really hard to get things done around here. So I think you are. And so kind of tell me how you came to work with me or our company.
So back then, I just saw the ad in Facebook and then I applied. And you guys paired me with my first client. And you were still in the recruitment model by that time. So I stayed with them for about 2 years and then something happened. So I contacted Zoe and then check if you guys could rematch me to a different client. And what I didn't know was I was applying for the internal role. So I'm really shocked when actually you interviewed. And then when you were like saying that if you're going to work with me, I'm like already
Freaking out.
yes, because I really thought that you guys are just going to rematch me to a different client. And then, of course, I accepted the offer, and here we are.
And I guess I'm not scared of me because I know me, but I do imagine it's probably pretty nerve-wracking to be interviewed by the founder of a company when you don't expect
Yes,
it. Yeah.
super. I'm really like thinking, why is Mel interviewing me?
And I was probably thinking she already knows why I'm interviewing her perhaps. So,
No.
oh, yeah. It's so hard to bring somebody new into my life because you have so much to learn and it takes a long time to adapt. And so I remember I talked to your former client, like in person. I happened to see him and I was like, tell me all the details because I think at that point you had already resigned. And so I felt pretty confident that you would be a good match for me based on what he had said. But then I'm always very cynical of what clients say when a VA is leaving them or if they've let go of somebody because I feel like there's guilt involved. Like they want to make sure that person gets another job. But because you resigned, I felt like he could be more honest with me and it wouldn't be like him feeling guilty. So I don't know. I felt excited about it. And actually, I think you came on board right when I was having my surgery and all that. Yeah. You started at like a weird time. And so you've been working with me. It's less than a year, probably 9 months or something. And how has that experience been? Be honest. Like let's grade it on a scale of 0 to 100.
Right now, probably eight.
8?
Eight, yeah.
Like
Why?
on a scale of 0 to 100%.
I'm sorry. Okay, 100%. I'm like thinking 10, and you're saying
Oh, okay.
0
So
to
80%. So you feel like
yes,
it's an 80.
80%.
Got it.
Yes.
That's actually not a bad score. In America, we usually ask, do we have an A, B, C, D? Because of those are the school grades, but I know it's different in the Philippines. So, and that's another thing I should mention. You're in the Philippines and I'm in America, but we did recently meet in person, and that was interesting and kind of weird, but we'll talk about that later if it comes up. But I guess the next thing I would ask you is do you ever feel imposter syndrome working with me or just in general?
Yes, Mel, of course, because I just tell you that I'll try my best to do everything that you want me to do, like the task, and I really want to do it well. However, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing it right, and I do make mistakes, something like that. I mean, if you tell me that I'm doing a great job, then sometimes I'm not.
You don't believe it.
Yes, I don't believe it. Yes, because I've done mistakes, so I want to do it well. And if I've done some mistakes, then it lessens the
Yeah,
the
but
confidence level.
of
So
course,
yes,
but also you're a perfectionist, so it's impossible to meet your own I think it's impossible to meet your own level of perfection in my view of what I've seen.
yes, I think Mel, I'm my own critic.
Oh yeah.
So whenever I do stuff in my brain, it's like, no, this is not good,
Yeah.
something like that. So
No, I don't scream at you, and it's almost like 'cause if I don't scream at you, then it can't like, I don't know, I'll just speak for myself. There's nothing you can ever say to me that would be worse than what I would ever tell myself, like, at my worst moment. So, I'm always gonna expect, like, when I say, "Christine, tell me the hardest parts of working with me," I'm gonna if you're too nice about it, then I'm gonna be like, "She's lying." She's being too nice, there's no way, right? I feel like that's a lot of how you seem to be as well. Like if I'm not mean to you, you're always I feel like you're afraid I'm gonna be mad at you or something or
yes, because I don't want us to have this kind of barrier when I might hurt you or something like that. If I'm being really, because sometimes I don't, especially when I get mad or I'm frustrated, I just blurt out things. So I don't want to do that. So I want to keep, I mean,
the
our
peace.
relationship at peace and professional. So if ever there comes a time that sometimes I'm really overwhelmed, I just really pause and then think. I just think, and then after that, then I move on. I do what I need to do.
has it ever occurred to you, and I know it has because I've talked about this to you, that I don't mind hearing when you're mad at me? Tell me something mean that you would say to me if you had blurted it out in the past. I wanna see if
No.
I come on. I wanna see if
No.
I'd actually be mad at you.
No. Then after this podcast, I mean, I'm fired.
No, yeah, right, okay. See, that's the problem right there. You have boss trauma that goes way back, but it's not
Yes.
about me because, as I've told you a million times, I literally can't live without you. I mean, I can. It's if we're talking literal, yes, I have lived without
Mhm.
you, I can live without you, but you're so integrated into my life that when you're not here, it makes it very hard to be a normal human business lady. So, I think you don't give yourself enough credit, but I don't think that's about me because I've never threatened to fire you, said I would fire you. We've never even talked about firing ever,
It's just
but
in
that's
my
okay.
brain.
Well, I challenge you to say something really mean to me sometimes, and let's see if I can handle it. I can only imagine. But for now, we'll get off that topic. I won't ask anymore. So when I first called you the melody manager, which is more of a concept to me, and I'll just explain to people who are listening. The thing that I realized is like I don't as a business owner and as a woman, I just hold the weight of everything on my shoulders, the mental load of the world, my employees, my business, my husband, my kid, like all the things. I think most women feel that mental load and it's a big weight sometimes. Nobody asks us to do it. It's natural for most of us to do that. And so to grow a business, I basically need a wife. And I always say, like, I need a wife. I think most women have said that. Have you said that, Christine? I need a wife ever in your life?
No.
Okay, well, that's because you are a great wife. But I just feel as a business owner and being a parent and a wife, like there's too many roles that I'm playing and it takes up all my time always. And so the joke with my friends is saying I need a wife. But what I really need is somebody, I don't want more people to manage. I want somebody to manage me, my whims, the things that I want somebody to kind of not be like my manager, of course, but have more of a relationship where it's not just me being the boss and you being an employee under me who's going to do the things that I tell you to do, but that we are working together to move towards goals and that you have a voice in how things go, not just being a task doer. So that's the explanation of what a melody manager is. And when I tell people, like, I don't need more things and people to manage, I need somebody to manage me. A lot of business owners are like, oh my God, I need a melody manager. So that's why I just keep saying that. But like when I called you that, what went in through your mind originally?
I'm pressured,
Oh
actually.
gosh.
Yes, because of course, I mean, for example, in a meeting, I need to interrupt you when what because you have another meeting. So it's hard for me because I'm not doing that before. So, but you what you said, I always thought about what you said, giving me permission to interrupt you and you're not going to be mad if I interrupt you or something like that. So that's what I'm always
Yeah, it's literally
thinking.
what I want from you. And we've talked about this and you've done a great job. Like that was one of the first things when I was in a lot of meetings early on and I still am sometimes. And so I need you to come in and interrupt sometimes because I love being like when I'm with somebody, I will talk with them forever. And I need you to be the person who comes in and says, Mel, don't forget you have another meeting in 10 minutes. Or Mel, you have to pick up your kid. Don't forget that you're a mother, stuff like that. So you've done good. You've worked on that. Are you comfortable actually managing me at times, or is this something you struggle with still?
Yes, Mel, I'm still struggling still because sometimes you change your mind a lot. So I don't know, sometimes I don't know what to do. So I just stick to, like, for example, what we planned for the first time. So I stick to that, especially when it's already recorded. And then when you change it, then I'll just tell you because you said this on the other time. So that's about it. But still, yes, I'm trying my best though to like still keep up with the changes. And yeah.
I think there's been so many changes in our company in general. So sometimes it feels like absolute chaos working with me because I have to be looking at the vision of the company forward more forward than anybody else does. And I'm looking at where we are now, where I want us to go, the future, all of the millions of ideas that I have. And Of course, there's ways we filter out these ideas. We use Denise as a filter for one thing, because she's like the integrator of the whole company. She's the vision strainer, as we call her, for my ideas. And then we also have our master list where you put all my ideas and things that we need to do. But I think I totally agree with you. It's really hard to probably be comfortable managing me because it feels like I change my mind a lot. And I do, I'm not going to lie. But also, it's not that I'm changing my mind, I'm shifting where we're going sometimes, and it takes so much communication between us to do that, and it's hard when you're virtual,
Yes, no.
and we have too many communication platforms. Like, I like to text you, and we also have Click, which is where we're supposed to put all the stuff, but I'm very undisciplined about it, and I apologize for that. So, yeah. Well, what's the biggest misconception that people have about being an executive assistant to somebody like me, a visionary entrepreneur?
I forgot already.
Well, what do you think people think it's like working with me versus what we actually are dealing with on the backside of things?
So you mentioned this earlier during your webinar. So you think that, like with Melody, when you see her, everything's great. I mean, everything's organized, something like that. So, but at the back end, we are here to help Melody with all the stuff that she needs. Like for the webinar, we have to prepare for the slides and all, and then we need to prepare for the registration and what we will do in Zoho form, something like that. So we are supporting her at the back end. So that's
But
that.
there's too many things all the time. And
Yeah.
so what I tell the people is that you make me look good. Like I'm very much wanting to be organized and systemized. And what I say is I can create a system, but they're not systems I will follow. I create systems for other people to follow. And I'm pretty good at that usually. But to get me to follow a system takes a tremendous amount of work.
Yes.
But we do, like, we have our master list, but to sit down, like, how often do we actually get to sit down and go through the list together like we're supposed to? It's not as much as our schedule says we are supposed to.
Yes. It's not as much, Mel, because you have a lot of things going on. So it's okay. But before we were like doing it.
Yeah, really consistent. Well, because we mapped out and we took a lot of time to do this. We mapped out my ideal schedule for the week, and we really thought where my energy is, like when I tend to have the most energy. And I don't love meetings, so we've tried to make it more organized of like if I have to make a video, it's going to take a lot of energy to make a video. I might as well make 10 videos at once, but I have to write outlines for them
Script,
first. So,
yes.
yeah. So that's how you help me to organize and be on top of things and which again, so grateful. It's really hard to do all that on my own. So actually, I can ask you this. You knew me from as being the founder of the company that you had worked with. How did you view me before versus what you know about me now?
Before, I really thought that you're really organized with a lot of stuff because you're doing Facebook Lives, right, with Miss Dean. And so I didn't think a lot of about the part where you have ADHD because, like what I mentioned with my previous boss, right, Gabriel, she also has ADHD, and sometimes there's like a spike of energy, and then all these ideas for comes out, and then we have to record that, and then I have to take note of all of those ideas. But thing is, with her, after that, all the tasks that I need her to do, I mean, she's not doing it. So that's what I've experienced with Gabriel. And with you, you're a workaholic. So,
Am I? I'm a
yes.
recovering workaholic, Christine. I'm trying so
Okay.
hard. Wait a minute. Let's call a spade a spade. Who's the workaholic out of both of us?
Of course, me.
Yeah, I'm always
Yes.
telling you, "Chill out. You need to stop working now," which is kind of funny, but yeah, you're right. I'm very offended by what you just said, but not that enough to fire you ever. See? It was
Okay.
totally fine. You're not wrong. I do work too much on things, but I'm also good about recognizing it when the overwhelm comes and then, like, "What did we do this week, Christine? What happened?"
Yes, it's your off day. I mean, this is your week of a space where Melody is not doing anything within the company,
Quote,
but you're
unquote.
still doing deep work.
Yeah, I've still done a lot of things that I had not intended to do this week. because things come up, things we forgot about, like somebody came to us and said, "Hey, this is the third time we're asking for this thing that you said you'd send us." And then second time is one thing, third time is like, "Oh crap." So we have to do that. And then I get totally hyper focused on it. And suddenly the day that I was going to be working on all my AI stuff is about doing ebooks instead. So for finishing them. But also knowing that this is going to be used in the future for other things as well. It's worth my time and it's something we've wanted to do for a long time. So, yeah, I think it's interesting because I used to probably be a lot like, is it Gabrielle or Gabrielle?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, your old boss. When I didn't understand how to make the relationship work more collaboratively, I didn't understand how to handle the millions of things that I want to do. And I think we do a much better job between our systems that we use, between having somebody in our company who's managing like the bigger goals each quarter. And then we do a lot of work to plan quarterly as well. So if things are changing, there's actually been a plan kind of. So it does feel like chaos on a daily basis, but really we're always moving forward more than I'm always surprised at how many things we get done. So, can you tell me about a time or share a time when you had to be really direct with me about something and how did that conversation go?
Okay, so this is about the calendar management. I mean, your calendar, your ideal schedule. So we've already set the time. I mean, we've already talked about, and then we've already put it in a spreadsheet that this is your ideal schedule. And then, so I'm following it. But then you want to be meeting other people, and it's not on the open hours that you want it to be. So, but you mentioned that I need to be meeting with them within this week, something like that. It's really important. And
Oh, I do that all the time, Christine. I'm
yes,
always like, because I think everything's equally urgent. Like everything's as urgent as the other thing. So yeah.
yes. So then I put it on your calendar. I mean, I scheduled all those appointments. And then after that, after a week, you said to me that, Christine, my family will disown me if I'm always in a meeting. So I'm like, I'm really frustrated and what am I going to do? So I'm like thinking of a plan for you to be able to like stick to that particular ideal schedule. So I suggested that we will create like a contract. They signed this agreement that we will be just using this schedule, something like that. So, but you didn't really sign it, so it's
Well,
okay.
Well, wait a minute, but I did agree to it, and it was more like a handshake deal, and I did actually negotiate with you on the contract because you were like I think what it was is you were like, "This is the schedule and you're gonna follow it." And I was like, "We need to, like, also adapt sometimes and change it." So, I think we agreed to, like, a month. Was it a month where we would just do it as it was and then adapt as needed? And, of course, things do come up that are important, especially family things, like thing I always forget is my son has sports, but sometimes he doesn't, and school changes like I feel like every day the schedule is different. And I'm in charge of picking him up or dropping him off in the afternoons. And so, yeah, how many times I'm like, Christine, I have to go get Max. And I forgot because it's so hard to keep up. So, there's always things happening. But I think you do a good job of trying to keep me on track. But I also have to be aware of, like, me wearing you out. I wear you down. I know that. And you sometimes give up on being able to manage me in the way that we want, but I feel like we are good about coming back and talking about it and then resetting.
Yes.
This podcast is sponsored by HomeServiceVA.com. A McKinsey report on business productivity revealed something shocking. The average business owner spends 28% of their time managing emails, 19% searching for information, and 14% on internal communication. That's over 60% of your time trapped in admin tasks instead of time spent growing your vision. Imagine what you could accomplish if you could get that time back. And that's where we come in. We match business owners like you with virtual collaborators who understand your vision and help bring it to life much faster than you can on your own. Visit homeserviceva.com to learn more or to apply it to work with us. Do it right now today. Like now, you'll forget. How has your role evolved? Since we first started working together, there's a lot of things that shifted. Of course, Dean left the company, my co-founder left the company, and you guys had to take on a lot more work in the company after that for the last quarter of the year. So there's been a lot of shifts that have happened, but how have you felt about the role and its shift, and where has that led you?
Well, at first, probably you trust me more because you've already given me access to everything. But I don't like it, right?
I do know that.
You giving me all access because I'm like always thinking of the worst things that could happen, so I don't want to. And then for the role, I think there's a lot right now. We're helping you with customer journey and stuff, and then we are also doing a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of tasks aside from customer journey. And you mentioned that customer journey is really, really important. That's the biggest thing right now is that we're doing a lot of tasks, and
When
so
you
I
say we,
sometimes,
do you mean me and you, or do you mean you and other people in the
yes,
company?
me and you and the other people, all of
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
Yes. So we are moving forward. I feel that sometimes overwhelmed, and there's a lot of because of the tasks, but still I want to do it. I mean, I still want to complete each day of the task. Like for example, with customer journey, you mentioned that this before that I mean I've already mentioned this before when you asked me about the customer journey, and I said that we can't do it because there's a lot of tasks going on. But you mentioned too that we should put an hour of our time to tackle a little bits of it so that we could finish it one step at a time. So that's what we're doing right now. And it's evolved. Before I was like only doing scheduling and stuff, and right now I'm like helping you with customer journey. With of course there's also the training too part where
Well, you manage a
I'm
lot of my
also
projects. Yeah, you manage what I do is I'll get on a Loom, and I'll just talk out what the projects what I want them to be. So it's kind of what is that? The 10-80-10 something that Adrienne Dorson taught me, which is and I don't think she invented it. It's just the thing where I usually think of it as like, I'm gonna give you some information to tell you everything about a project that I want it to end up happening, and then at the end, I usually try to fix it up. But this is like, I tell you all the things, you do probably 80% of the work, I do 10 in the beginning, you do 80%, and then 10 at the end comes back to me. And that works pretty well. Like, I think most people don't delegate because they think they have to get every single thing right from the start, and or they don't communicate it right. And I think we do pretty well. But it is about managing your time. And when you have me coming all the time with sometimes I won't talk to you for hours, right? And so you have a lot of space, you're dealing with things, and then suddenly I'm sending 50 things your way. And there's
yes.
not a rhythm. Even when I'm on vacation, this quote unquote vacation this week, and my vacation is to do the deep work in the company. But I think the thing I like about working with you is that you're very adaptable to or able to adapt, even though it's painful, I think sometimes for both of us. How do you feel like as somebody who's working kind of solo? Like I talked to you about this in the Philippines when I was there in December. Like you have to be my person again because you were the company's person for a while, right?
Yes.
You're very much inside the company helping because it helped me to have you there doing the projects the company needed done before I went to so that we could reset for our projects for the year. But then I was also frustrated because I felt like your time was being too much in the company and then taking away from what I actually needed. And so, how do you deal with that? That there's like this push and pull that happens.
Honestly, Mel, I don't know what to do with that time. Because I want to help. I want to help the company. I want to help you. So probably I'm thinking I'll do my best to like finish everything and then help you or I'll do the task that you want me to do and then afterwards I could help them. Something like that. So that's what I'm thinking before. Like and also what I'm doing now. I think that if you need something, I'll help you first with all the things, and then if I can't, and then if there's no time, then probably I'll help them in another time. Something.
Well, you probably start your day with a plan. And then, like, today, did you plan on recording this podcast with me?
Oh, no, Mel.
Yeah, but I've been
No.
asking you for a while now, and I finally talked you into it. But, like, usually I know that you start with a plan for the day, and then things always come up. And part of your role is to help me decide what's really important or not. But it's also really, really hard to take that on and make decisions. But I do think one of the things I do better than I've ever done before is I recognize that, for instance, sometimes I'll say, I need to get on a Zoom with you, but finish whatever you're doing first. Because I think sometimes you would just let go of what you're doing and then immediately come on Zoom with me. I try to be cognizant as a leader and as a collaborator with you that I can't, you'll be way more frustrated with me if you're not getting the stuff done that's important that I'm not thinking about. And then, of course, I'm sure there are times when I'm like, "Why didn't you do this thing?" And then you probably get mad, although you won't tell me, and just say, "You said you wanted me to do this other thing." It's hard, but I try to be cognizant of not overwhelming you as much as possible. And so we do have good systems and we keep going back to them. I would say that's one thing that if anybody's listening who has an assistant, don't assume that it's always going to be perfect. It's going to run smoothly. That's what me and Christine would, I would love that, wouldn't you? But that's
Yes.
not the way the entrepreneurial journey works. And so last week when I was feeling super stressed out and feeling like, oh my God, I'm just going to be meeting with people forever and ever, never getting to the stuff we're actually supposed to do. I just said, cancel everything next week except for one thing. And I just need the space. And that's kind of, I've done this before. That's the way that we stop me from the in the business, being too much in the business and to go back to on the business work. But it's hard for you to look at the overview of everything and tell me that. It wouldn't be a natural thing, I think, to do. So I got off topic and I'm sorry. This isn't the Christine Interviews Mel show. What strategies do you or have you developed to help manage my sparkly brain? Like when have those moments of what you call energy and I call sparkly brain.
Okay, so for example, you're going to message me and for example, like tomorrow, and then you left me a ton of message in Click and there's also videos to
Like
watch.
last night, like yesterday. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot more before. Like you have recorded a lot of videos for me to watch and then also a ton of message and then so while I was checking Click and then you sent me a message and then with a lot of things too. so so what I'm doing if we have those messages, give me those messages first. I read Click first and then unread all the things that I haven't done yet. And then for the messages, I check one by one, then put it in my notepad. Or if sometimes you see that I'm transferring it to Mel's brain or
The
sending
Mel's
it to
Brain
you.
channel, I do
Yes.
see that, yeah. We have just for people who are listening, we have there's a channel that I wanna come back to in our basically our Slack or Click that's called Mel's Brain, which is where all my ideas go.
Yes, so I'm transferring it to Mel's brain, and then after that, I put those tasks that's needed to be like done in our master list. Sometimes, if I, because like for example, there's a lot, so sometimes I just put not all of it because of course I need to work on it first. I mean, my it's going to be my to do list in Click, so that's what I'm doing. But of course, I tend to forget because like I'm doing something and then your message comes up and then I was doing something here and I want to like transfer it to Mel's brain, but I'm forgetting it because I was already doing something. So I'm really sorry. Sometimes like I do forget some things.
That's normal human behavior, and I think we both agree that there are reasons that happens, you just told us. And I just wanna say one thing about the Mel's Brain channel. I think the brilliant part about it, I used to just text everything, and I think I really try hard to never text you outside of work hours, Christine, I think you know that. Unless it's like an immediate emergency or if I'm seeing how you're doing. But the Mel's Brain channel is really there so that I can get all the things out of my head that I don't wanna forget, but that's how you know it's not like you have to immediately look. And before, I didn't realize every time I would put a text in, I'm just thinking I'm getting out of my head. I'm not thinking they have to respond to it in the middle of, dinner or anything like that. So it's a way to make sure that you still have your time and are not working 24/7 for me, just waiting for my messages, because that's how people burn out, and I'm really cognizant that I don't wanna burn people out as much as possible. It works pretty well as long as we're disciplined.
Yes.
I'm not always. Well, in day-to-day life, it's easier for me to text you on my phone, which is usually where I am, and so if I'm trying to get something too fast, it's text. But I'd never think of Click as, like, well, it would be easier for you if I put it into that thing. But that's a two-step process for me instead of a one-step process for me. So I apologize.
It's okay, Mel.
Yeah, we do
I
okay.
mean, if you're out and then of course I understand that you'll be texting, and then that's the main reason why I'm sometimes I'm putting it in click, so you know I have we have this because sometimes I mean your messages, there's a lot of messages, so we can't back read.
If I'm driving, that's usually when my brain is very active because I don't have other stuff, and then you get, like, a lot of messages from me, sadly. But
It's okay because what I'm doing also is like, for example, you want me to send messages to Denise or to the team, then that's what I'm doing. I'm like copying or putting I'll screenshot your message and then sending it to them. So
well, I am committing to you right now that I am going to try to live and click more. I'm gonna
okay.
try. But I can't commit to having less ideas, and I'm sorry, but not sorry. I love the fact that you take on a lot of the things for me that I would struggle with or, like, that I procrastinate on, and so it allows me to have better like, the space to have good ideas or creative problem solving time, so thank you. As a Filipino, are there cultural adjustments that you have to make to work with me as an American?
Well, just a little, Mel. Like for example, our communication, like because you're very direct and Filipinos are not direct, so probably that's it. And then I'm not sure if it's cultural also that
Tell me, I wanna hear it.
about the pushback thing. So so I think it's not cultural because Denise is well, I think she's
Is she a normal Filipino, do you think?
no.
Yeah. What you're talking about is the fact that I want you to push back. I want you to tell me your opinions and debate me, and you're like, "I don't like that, and I don't wanna do it." But I have Denise for that, and I think it's okay, I do understand. I won't bring up the topic, but there was a time that when we were in the Philippines when I did debate you, and you hated it, and then I think you were pretty mad at me about it, and I was like, "Why is she so mad? This is just a philosophical debate." But it was something that was hard, right? And for Denise, if I'd done it with her, maybe it would have been, like, not a big deal.
Hmm.
Just but for you, it was like you feel like you can't be yourself with me in the same way that you would with your family if they were trying to debate you or your sister, I don't know. So I get that. Matt and you are very similar in that way. He doesn't love debating me about things. It does not bring him joy. So, it's okay. There's a tendency with Filipinos to be very differential, to kind of just be like, not I don't wanna say subservient, that's not what it is. It's like just being very respectful and not being a partner or a collaborator. That's not how you guys are trained. And in America, we're very individualist. You guys are very like the group culture matters and the collectivism and also like just respect for elders, respect for hierarchy in your systems. We don't have the same thing here. I challenge you often to not look at, to become more of a collaborator with me and less of a just a doer. Do you struggle with that?
Yes, Mel. Because if I'm going to be a collaborator, I need to like do pushbacks too. It's training me.
Oh, no. I know. I know, it's like it makes me it and I totally get it. It does drain you. It doesn't drain me, but it doesn't mean I think collaboration, the way that we define it, is that you do feel free. It's not just pushback, like mean pushback, but just to be like, "Mel, don't forget that you said there are these 3 things that are also important. You just gave me 6 more things. Which ones should I be actually focused on?" Pushing it back to me that way.
And thing is, for being a collaborator, if the thing I like about you is you always ask for my opinion. So my other bosses are not like that. They're not asking for my opinion, like, is this good? And then you also listen to everything that I say or suggest. And that's what I really like about you. I mean, you always listen to your employees. Yes.
I try, but then if I'm always listening, why do I spend 70 to 80% on average in the conversations
I mean,
talking?
listening, but of course you're not agreeing to everything that we are suggesting, right? So
Oh, yeah, but I mean,
there,
like,
yeah.
I do listen. I think I could do a better job of listening. That's one of my challenges with Filipino culture is you guys think inside of your mouth. like in your brain. And then you say it in your out of your mouth. Whereas I kind of think out loud, and culturally, when I'm in meetings, it's frustrating. Like, guys, tell me your opinions. What do you think about this? And silence, because you're
Well,
all
that's because
thinking.
yeah, not really, but that's because we're shy.
Yeah.
We're shy and then we're afraid to like
But isn't
say the
that
wrong
weird?
thing.
We have such a tight team. Like, we've spent weeks to like, we have a very tight, good team. Why are you guys shy around each other? Or are you shy like that when I'm not in the room? I feel like I'm the dynamic that makes everybody shy.
Not really, Mel, because if Denise is asking something, then we're also thinking. We're also quiet sometimes. So,
Interesting. Well, it's something that I'll probably always struggle with. I try sometimes to be silent for 10 seconds because I'm like, if I just am quiet for 10 seconds, because I feel very uncomfortable with space when there's silence. And so I'll be quiet and nothing will happen. And then I can't handle it anymore. I'll have to say something, even if it's just like, guys, say something. It's hard, but
yeah.
I'm trying this year. I think I committed to this of trying to hold more space for you guys to be able to open up on your own terms and not just on Melody's terms. Well, what are the most stressful days working with me? We kind of talked about this a little bit already, but how do you work through that?
During the days where you're really, really, really energetic and have sparkly ideas. I mean, your sparkly brain is really sparkling. So, like what I said, I just take notes of everything and then work on it one at a time so that I don't get really, really overwhelmed. But of course, if there's a lot of messages, I just pause for a while. And then after probably 2 minutes, then I'll go back and then that's what I'm doing in order for me to focus because my brain's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot.
Overwhelm.
Yes. So I focus on one message at a time and then transfer it to our master list. That's what I'm doing.
So when we first started, I mean, I've used a master list for many years, but I think we've really dialed it in this year and last year. And it used to be very overwhelming to me when I first saw, because I just would brain dump hundreds. It's literally hundreds of items long at times. Right now, there's well over 100 things on there. Do you see it that same way still? Like now I can filter it out. Like I don't even see anything below one and two most of the time because we order it by urgency. So when you started, were you overwhelmed? And now how do you feel about it?
For the master list, I mean, and then you like gave me like, Christine, you only have to give me like 2 to 3 things that I need to focus on every day. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's easier and you get things done right away. Well, not
Yeah.
right away, but
Well,
I mean,
within a couple days, if I fight
yes,
it.
with the
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so sometimes you do it right away and then sometimes I just have to like put it over and over again so that you can
You have to poke me.
it's easier now, yes. And you don't get really overwhelmed when you look at the master list because we are getting things done and then we're all the things that are done, we're putting it in the completed list. So,
They
and then
don't
you can
disappear.
see, yes,
Yeah.
you can see the tasks that we did for a week. So I'm just every Monday I'm like telling the team that we've accomplished these like number of tasks, like
You should
22,
tell me
22
that. You
tasks.
never tell me the number of tasks we accomplish. Uh,
Okay, okay.
Tell
I'll
me as
include that.
well. And I should
Okay.
just explain to people that one of the things we've figured out about me is that right now I'm in sales and marketing and I'm really focused on that in our company. But we figured out, slash Melody also mostly figured out that if I know too much about what's going on in the company, I'm very operationally focused and I won't sell. I won't tell people how great we are if I know that we've made one mistake. So we keep me out of the things now because everybody knows their job and they can handle things unless it's like some sort of high level thing that only I can think of. My job is only on the side of things of creating or working on sales and things. So that's why Kristine doesn't tell me all the things in the company. She's kind of keeps it for me. But I think that one would be a nice one to know.
Okay.
I love the fact that I get to be like, we did over 600 things in the last 8 months of 2024. And some of them were huge things. So, I mean, one of those things is have a podcast. That was like a lot of different tasks to get there, but that wouldn't have happened otherwise. I'm going to switch gears for a minute and I want to ask you about the timeline of your life. Timeline of your life. Of your life. What is a year that you can think of that really transformed your life in some way or changed the way you view life? And tell me a little bit about that.
Probably when I gave birth to my son, because thing is, his real father left us. So I had to like be strong enough on my own.
How old were
And
you?
then probably I'm 26 that time.
And what year was this?
I forgot.
What, you don't know the year your son was born? No challenge. I know.
Well,
Okay, we'll just
ni-
say it
I
was.
think it's 19. I
Wait, is he
forgot.
Max's age?
Honestly, yes, I
Oh,
think.
so I think it was either 98, 99, or 2000, right? No, oh 08, oh 09, or 2000.
I think it's 09.
Yeah, Max was oh 09, so that would make sense.
Mm-mm, there. And then afterwards, I just focused on getting work because, of course, I need to support my son. And then after that, I met my husband. After a year, we got married, and he took on the role of a father to my son. So that changes everything actually. And then there,
Well, I've met Dale. He's fantastic. He loves you, I think, way too much, Christine. No, there can
I
never
know.
be too much love. He really loves you so much, and he's such a compassionate, caring person and so giving. I love Dale. So, and I shouldn't dismiss that you and I have a similar story in that way because I have a great husband too who also, you know, became Sophia's dad when she needed one when she was 10. So, it does, I understand that. It changes everything to have a supportive partner when you've been doing things on your own. So, congratulations on having Dale.
Well, congratulations of having Matt.
Oh, well, thank you. I worked hard for that.
Then after that, I applied because I was working in a BPO industry before, and
Can
then
you say what a BPO is? It's a call center,
it's a call
right?
center. Yes,
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
call center. And our nanny went home, so there's no one to take care of the kids. So I made a decision that will hurt us financially, but you know, I need to quit my job and then take care of the kids. And then I've been 3 years. I'm not working. I'm just selling like baking. I was baking actually and then selling those that I bake. And after that, I mean my colleague before told me that I can apply to this job like a VA role. And I was really nervous because it's like 3 years I don't have any work. Well, I tried it and luckily I got accepted and they have training before, so I went through the training and then I got accepted, and that's my first step actually for the VA world. And then it helped us. I mean, before it was only like $4, so
Oh, yeah. Which, by the way, I just have to say to people who are listening, $4 is not, it sounds so low for an American listening. It does not sound like a lot of money. And I'm not saying for a Filipino, $4 is a lot of money either, but what is an average, like what were you making at a call center before that, would you say per hour?
it's way like half Mel.
Wow, that's crazy. So and there's a lot of call centers in the Philippines, so it could be as low as like 250 or $3 an hour. And so
Or
then you became.
$3, yeah.
Wow. And then you became a VA, and so it went up in that other company at 4. And we in home service VA, our company, we say that a living wage starts at 6, even though there's a lot of factors that play into that, but it's so different than America. So I just wanted to make sure people listening were like not freaking out about that part. But go on.
So after that, like what I said, it's like a door opening for me, like for the VA world. And then thing is, I got sick. So I was diagnosed with endometrial
It's like
endometrial
cancer.
cancer. Yes,
Yeah. How
stage
old were you
one.
when you were
It was
diagnosed?
like 2 years. I mean, 2 years, because I got sick. I was not yet diagnosed by then because
Oh, okay.
I need to go through a lot, like biopsies and all. So it took me 2 years, I guess, or 1 year, to go through everything. And then after that, underwent surgery. And then after getting the endometrium, that's the time that they will tell me if I mean if I'm going to be diagnosed. So by that time, I was already with. I mean, I already applied to HSPN. I was already partnered with client, and then good thing he did not fire me at all. Even through I was like 3 months only with him, and I told him that I'm going to go through this surgery because of endometrial cancer. I mean, because of this. So yeah, he's really nice about that, and yeah, I'm
Ryan.
really
Thank you,
grateful.
Ryan.
Yes.
Yeah. That is nice. We've always had pretty good clients in our company. I feel like we've attracted good people, and Ryan was one of those people. So
Yes. And that's it. And then I was rematched to you guys. So thank you so much. It's a big shift too.
it's interesting. We both have had the health journey. I've not been diagnosed with cancer, but I had my own 2-year health journey and then had surgery last year. And so that's why I'm always yelling at you, quote unquote yelling, about not being a workaholic and take care of yourself because I worry about you with that stuff. And also, you do the same for me. So I guess we're both each other's mother. Thank you for sharing that story because I know that's like a very personal story, but it's something that I bet you a lot of people can relate to. And I'm so glad that you're are with us here, that you are doing well, and take care of yourself because that's what we need to do.
Yes, we need to take care of ourselves,
We
Smell.
do.
Yes, that's our motto for this year, right?
Health. Health is my besides my other year my words are health and unlearn. I'm allowed to have 2 words. So, what has been the best part of our journey together?
The best part of our journey probably like knowing you as a person and how your brain works, and of course you do give me, for example, if I wanted to learn something like this like GHL, so you push me to also learn GHL and you let me go through trainings. So I'm really thankful about that. And well, thank you so much for trusting me, Mel. For trusting me and like providing me, of course, for example, that I if I commit mistakes, you always like understand and tell me to how to work on those things, you know.
Yeah. I think trust is the biggest. I always preach this to everybody, but I live it. I try to live it. You have to have trust with the people you work with, or else it doesn't work. Not at the level that people want it to work. And I think that's really hard for a lot of entrepreneurs. And it's not as hard for me. Sometimes I get burned.
Yes, a lot of times.
Yeah, but I also have a bad memory for it, so that's good. But I think I'm really, lucky to have great people around me too, and you one thing I love about you, Christine, is that you really understand that I need a buffer. I need somebody and I've talked about it to you, but you really do try to keep me from just being overwhelmed by people wanting things because I will always say yes. And so I appreciate that you do that for me. What would you say to somebody like me who is really nervous about hiring an assistant like you, or they're nervous about maybe the things we always hear is they're not ready, they have to get their mind straight first or get more organized. Like, what would you say to somebody?
For business owners who are always afraid, like me, if as a person, I'm always afraid of doing things. But you have to take risks in order for you to move forward. So you have to look for like an agency. Of course, you have to research that agency and then look for feedbacks and all, so that you know that you'll be working with a great team, so who could really support you, especially with a VA. You could look for a VA DIY, but thing is there's no one to support you. And then if you're going to encounter like problems, then there's really no one to support you. So right now, if you want to buy back, wow, well, to
Oh,
get back, to
buy
get
back
your
time.
time back, yes, to get your time back, probably you need to look for an agency who could support you and then match you with a great VA so that they could help you
I promise
This
I
is
did
me
not.
selling.
I know. I've either indoctrinated you into the HSBA cult so much that you should be the salesperson. Do you know any agencies that do that, Christine? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so there's something like that because of course there's a lot of agencies, and if you want to, you need help, you need to accept that you need help, and then after accepting that you need help, you need to look for people who can help you.
The right people, yeah.
Yes.
Business owners are control freaks, just like you and I are, so they get it. And what advice would you give, like, other Filipinos, how they can build trust with their clients, which I think is actually a hard question, but maybe you can give a little advice.
What I can give to my fellow Filipino, probably you just have to be honest in everything that you do. If they've given you passwords and all, you have to really secure that and don't do,
Don't do bad things.
yes,
Okay,
really
well,
shady.
let's be clear first, so that people don't assume that we just give everybody passwords to everything. We do take security very seriously in our company. However, there has to be one person who has all my stuff because I don't want to be giving you access all the time to all the things. Remember, you talked about how you don't like having all my stuff? There was one thing I did not give you for a long time, and that was my iCloud stuff
iCloud.
because that's all my notes, all my pictures, all my things. You actually need all that stuff to do your job. So I feel like the trust was built to the point where you have that and I trust you, but we also take precautions and we always tell clients do not give passwords to people right away and or do it through a password protection thing. I know you were just giving an example, but I could imagine if I heard that I would just go out and just give people my passwords. Well, that's literally what I did. Never mind.
And then I just want to add that for everything that they, I mean, all the tasks, like what they said that they would do, they should put it in somewhere where your boss will see it. So they would know what you, all the tasks that you did, you accomplished for this day. So they would not think like, what are they doing? Something like that. So
Yeah.
there's like accountability. Mhm.
Yeah, it's transparency, but it's also protection for them. Like we've seen a lot of times where, we always tell people you have to do this system. Like now we make people do our systems, but a lot of times before people wouldn't follow through on it. And then maybe a client may or may not be a good client or person to work with would come and say, I don't even know what they're doing. And then the assistant didn't give every day all of that information because they're just doing whatever the boss says. And really, you need to protect yourself as an assistant when you're working virtually. But it's also like that's how you build trust with somebody. Like, I don't want to micromanage you. Nobody wants to be a micromanager. They can become recovering micromanagers, though, if you show them ahead of time, if you're proactive and giving them the information that they might want later, if that would make them become more micromanaging. And one of those things is just showing them what the work you're doing and making sure that they see every day the progress you're making and being detailed about it. Well, Christine, this has gone longer than I had thought. So that's a good sign. You had more words to say than you could have ever imagined. And I appreciate that. But now we finally reached the end. Christine, it's that time of the show where we do the Misfit Minute. You know how it's played. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
More time or more money?
More money.
Type A or type ADD?
Type A.
Saver or spender?
Saver.
Workaholic or recovering workaholic?
Workaholic.
Adventure or relaxing?
Relaxing.
Things or experiences?
Experiences.
Phone calls or texts?
Phone calls.
Plan ahead, go with the flow.
Plan ahead.
Hands on or delegate?
Hands on.
Not a trick question. Compete or collaborate?
Collaborate.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
You love chocolate.
No,
No,
a little, but
okay.
I can't.
Okay. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. Quick thinker or overthinker?
Overthinker.
Well, for an overthinker, you did a really good job on this because you did it very fast and you didn't overthink it at all. So, congratulations, you win whatever the prize is.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being on here. And I want to say one last thing that we didn't even talk about is the end of relationships. Not that the end is here, but we have talked about very honestly and openly. And I told you right when we started working together, I don't keep assistants forever, even though I want to desperately. And there's a reason for that because we find the places in the company where they're better suited. And so we know that you are not going to be my assistant forever this year. Where are you gonna be going into the company, and what is gonna be your passion?
So I mentioned to you that I love JHL.
Which
So,
is a software that is very complicated.
well,
For
yes, it's
most humans
complicated.
like Melody, yes.
Okay. But still, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning, Mel. So yes, and I'm very excited about that. I'll be in the operations, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll be more like with Rowie, HR projects, things like that, and then we will be looking for the next Melody manager, although we are not in a rush, we're still working
Yes.
together, and I really am grateful that even though I hate when I have to start over with somebody, I know that you're gonna do a great job training them so that I don't have to as much as possible, and
Actually,
how
Mel, I'm
yes,
already working on those training.
I
So
see it, I yeah, I
yes,
know you are.
I'm going to like create a document first. I mean, I already have a document, but it's not in our drive yet. So I'll just putting the document in our drive, and then but I have to complete it first before I put it so that you could check.
Well, and we also have a lot of the other SOPs already, like my travel SOPs and like all of these things that we've created over time that continue to evolve. And that's what we always try to do with the next person is you take what you've learned, you stick it into the Melody Manager manual or what do we call it? The Melody Bible manual. What is it? The
Melody Manager, I think.
yeah,
Melody Manager.
it's just like a book of all of the things about melody and all of the things you need to know. But I love that we've continued to grow that because it makes it much easier for me to transition even though I don't like it. But you and I will always have this special connection because you have been one of my key people. And that's the cool thing is you get to go off into the company and become a key person in a different role in the
Yes.
future.
So.
So until then, you can't leave me, but I will wish you many this is weird. Obviously, we're still gonna be working together.
Yes, Mel.
Anyway,
Why are
I'm just
why are you
weird,
saying
I'm
goodbye?
because it's the end of the podcast and it just
Okay.
it felt natural. I don't know.
Okay.
Christine, thank you so much for joining me today on this very special edition of the Business Misfits podcast. Thank you for all of the wisdom and that you shared. Thank you for your eternal patience with me. You're a very patient person in your business life with me. And thank you for being somebody who's always willing to grow with me too. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you too, Mel.
You're welcome. Listen, Bisfit, if you believe in the mission of this podcast, I need you to like and subscribe right now. Pause this, go find the podcast. You might already be there, which is easy. Just go like and subscribe. And if you really, really believe in it and you want Bisfits to unite and change the whole business world, please rate it. Rating is the best way to get the word out to attract more like-minded misfits like you and me so that we can overthrow the takers of this world who currently dominate the business universe. I know I sound like I'm some courageous lady of business. I am not. I can't do this alone and I don't want to. I need you, and we need a coalition of fellow Bisfits. So do it now. The quicker we take action, the quicker we can change our business world. Now let's go do great things, and I will see you next week. I'm a misfit. 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 I'm a misfit.